Is that what you came here for? To solicit league games?
No, I was going to talk to you about the Fresh and Fit panel, but I don't know if you want to keep talking.
Yeah, sure.
What's your
Wait,
take on it? Because I think, okay, I'm waiting.
before you ask me that, I don't know why my train won't take this rail. I don't understand why not. Okay. I thought it went okay. I think the first half was probably better than the second half. Yeah, I feel like the main problem I'm gonna have is usually what I complain with for most like lefty or progressive people, is that they're just way too aggressive.
Like fighting on too many points, not giving
Fighting on too
any
many
concessions,
points
or
for
understanding.
Pixie and being too snarky for Erin, I would say.
Do you think Fresh and Fit is like solely for entertainment, or do you think that Myron takes that content really seriously?
No, I think he takes it super seriously. He's a very serious guy, I think.
Okay, because I don't remember what your opinion is. Does Sneeko take it seriously? Is Sneeko like really serious to the Redpill?
A little bit, but he's more like a follower than like a leader when that happens. Like he just like likes all the content creators, and that's like the community that he's in. He's not like creating Redpill stuff. He's like regurgitating it.
Do you take this really serious?
Yeah, I do, but it's hard because of the environment that I'm in. When like I'm not trying to say it as an insult, but like when like 50 to 60% of the audiences are actual virgins, it feels like kind of weird or performative to like do so much content on this stuff. There's not much like that's applicable for most people, so why like, it's just kind of weird. But I mean, I feel strongly about all of it, but
Yeah, I feel strongly about the topics. I think it makes me get to 10 sometimes. But then people that I think are really serious do stuff that kind of seems like memes, and then I feel like I'm silly.
yeah, that's why I don't interact with like characters ever. Like if I feel like I'm being serious and the other people are memeing, I completely disconnect. That's why I have a hard time like focusing on Zerka, or why I wouldn't talk to like Casey Tron in the past or Bob Seven sometimes on shows. Even though I thought they were funny, I can't engage with the characters because it makes me feel stupid.
Is there anyone in the Red Pill community that you've encountered that you're like, this is a character?
I don't think so. Yeah, they all feel pretty genuine to me, on camera and off camera. Like they're pretty much the same. Right.
Is there a reason you didn't go on the panel?
I think I just need to. I think way too much about like imposing on people, and I need to just like do things and just assert myself more. It just always feels like so attention. But
Yeah, Sneeko's on there. It feels like every other week.
yeah, I know. But and I went out to dinner last night. I talked to him. And Myron asked me, he's like, "Why didn't you show up?" And I was like, "Well, because you guys didn't ask me." He's like, "Oh yeah, just like drop by anytime." Like, of course. But I feel like, especially because when I'm on those shows too, I'm like dominating so much of the talking time that like I feel bad. Like, oh, here's Destiny again to come and talk for 12 hours about fucking whatever. Like I don't want to like overstay my welcome, I guess.
Do you ever look at what the views are when you go on?
Yeah, they're good. The money's good too. The super chats for those guys.
Oh, for them.
Yeah.
But like you, like do you generally give them like high rating views?
Yeah, that's what I
Videos or
mean. They
whatever?
get good money, they get good viewership when I'm on for sure.
Yeah, so I mean obviously it's good if you show up.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, probably, yeah.
But it doesn't get boring for you to go there. Like do you feel like you were interested and kind of like wishing you were there because
Absolutely.
you knew some of the people on it and it made
Oh.
it more interesting, or?
Just because I knew the talking points. And when I feel like if Pixie and Erin did a pretty good job, kind of, generally. I'm not trying to imply that they're dumb, but I know all these talking points really well. So when I see things that are being fought about on a show, and I feel like I want to have input because I feel like I could express some things with a little bit more clarity, then I get like really frustrated and I really wish I was there, yeah. There were a few points where it's like, yeah.
Do you think if they weren't there and you just saw a panel of like the women, it's kind of like less interesting? I mean the other women, shit. They're women too.
Well, it's going to depend on the women there, on how much of a fight they're putting up or how much they agree or disagree or whatever, right?
Yeah, but I feel like part of what makes it interesting is that you weren't there. Like even that Xena girl, I think the last time you were there with her,
Yeah.
she wasn't as combative with you as she was like with Erin.
Was she
There's something
actually,
about-
was she on the show when I was there, or was she in the background? I'm trying to remember.
Maybe she was in the background.
Yeah, I don't think she was actually on when I was there. She's a huge, I've talked to her a bit off, because she usually goes to dinners afterwards. She's a huge Andrew Tate fan and everything. So,
Yeah, I think some women feel like a lot more comfortable being argumentative when they're like getting mad at another woman.
maybe,
Not
yeah.
so much a dude. So like
It's
those
kinda
like
sad,
real
but-
feelings, that energy comes out when another girl antagonizes it out of them.
Maybe, yeah.
And then you kind of foam at the mouth and you're like, I could finish this.
Sure, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dude. The conversations with Annalicia and then getting like acquainted with that community, it makes me see a lot of the Red Pill stuff in a way different light when it's coming from a lot of these creators that are black. Because I think a lot of what she said is, she expressed it in a very vitriolic manner, but I think a lot of it is true in that, yeah.
No, it is true, but you're not supposed to like prescribe it to every black man.
Sure,
in
I
the
know,
world,
but
right?
like,
the ones that have the microphone.
this is like
what
a
is it,
prediction
this
based on private conversations I've had, and I haven't talked to every black Red Pill creator. Based on some the conversations I've had, the things I've seen, my guess is going to be that close to 100% of all of these black creators that are doing Red Pill content, if you were to ask them about black women, they would say stay the fuck away and never, ever, ever get close to them. That they're like toxic and horrible and don't ever touch them. I think that almost every single black Red Pill creator would say that. And I feel like a lot of their worldview is informed by their engagements with black women in their life that have probably been largely negative growing up, like especially with like single moms or families with single moms is what it feels like.
Fuck. I think I saw you react to Blueface and Chrissy and Rock.
Blue.
On
Yes.
No Jumper.
Yeah.
with
Holy
Shark.
shit.
Yeah, but I don't know what you are. You're like three types of fucking impatient. You can't watch a fucking video from the start. You gotta just jump to the middle. You don't even know what's happening in the middle. You're just like, yeah, this seems like a good place to start. You skip all of the interesting shit. You skip all of the parts of which Sharp is being like a fucking douche.
Yeah, I have
And
to.
he's
There's
being
a thing. Yeah,
condescending
I'm
prick.
changing up some of the shit. I just started doing this recently. I'm just permabanning the people that say anything. I think I blacklisted like 3 phrases that have to do with React. For a lot of the stuff, I need to watch it to like see what's going on and like learn or whatever. But I don't know if it's because a lot of the fucking retards in my chat are like watching XQC more or like what's going on. But like anytime I'm watching something, if I'm not like constantly talking like I'm Mr. Beast or some fucking YouTuber like Markiplier, people are like react more, react more, react more, react more, react more. And I'm just like trying to, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm watching yet. I'm like 2 minutes into this fucking video. And I don't even know the people. But I've just started like permabanning like everybody that's like saying, even joking, saying stupid shit like that. So I'll probably, do a little bit better at watching some long form stuff. But it's like, it's starting to like mind fuck me a little bit. I don't know why, but over the past couple of years, audience should have started to mindfuck me, which normally didn't happen. I mentioned that before, that for the for that Change My Mind event, I started gaslighting myself when Erin came up to talk, and I ended up cutting that conversation way shorter than I probably should have, because all I could think about in my chat was everybody saying like, oh, he's talking to a girl longer, he's simping, he just wants to fuck her, he just wants to fuck her.
Oh,
and I'm like, yeah, I need to just like, I'm probably talking to her too long. But that video did almost 1 million views. My instincts were right on that.
Oh, yeah.
I should have kept that conversation going. I knew it was a good combo, but I started to gaslight myself so much based on what retarded people in my chat say. I don't know if the community's gotten especially bad, or I think that what's happened was, this is a bullshit thought I have no evidence or data for this, but something that is really good is when you go through life, sometimes you have difficult things happen to you and you have to take a moment to process that, and then you kind of move on. You go through something difficult, you take a moment to think about it, you process it, and then you move on. Something that a lot of people do is, I call this like rolling garbage or rolling baggage. That what happens is they go through something, they don't really take the time to process it, and they just fuck it, and they keep going, and they push until they crash, and they never actually take the time to properly kind of like reevaluate anything or process anything that's going on in their life. I think that what's happened is generally I'll intersect with a negative community, and then I tend to like stay pretty insular for a while because I don't do too much debate content. I intersect with the negative, stay insular, so I have time to like gather new fans and then get them kind of like more properly integrated, I think, into my community. But I think over the past like 2 years, I had a really big explosion kind of in popularity, and I don't think I've properly integrated those fans yet. So I've got a lot of people that are like, I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like 40% of my audience has probably started watching me in the past 2 years, I think. Vote. When did you start watching me? Before 2021 or after 2021? I'll say before or after COVID. I'm just kind of curious, I guess, what the numbers are.
I mean, you created a tier 5 sub. That's like $80 a month, and you got a bunch of new viewers who...
Yeah, that are all new. All of my tier 5s are like new people, right?
Yeah.
So even in my DGG chat, and this should be my most loyal, ardent, like my biggest fans, even at that, 20% of those people are from after. So let's try YouTube chat. Engage, boom, boom, start a poll. when did you start watching me? Yeah, some guy in my chat's like, I found you a no jumper. Jesus. But I think I have like, I think I'm catching like a big rolling audience that is not like fully integrated into like the shit that I do. So I think I'm like rolling around with a lot of like non-traditional fans and stuff, especially my subreddit is fucking insane. On the shit that they post is like unbelievably wild. And, yeah, I don't know. I need to do, yeah. On my YouTube chat, it's almost 50-50 in terms of people. So almost half my live YouTube audience is watching me from like after COVID. That's like insane, considering I've been streaming for like 12 years. But it explains a lot of like how different people like engage with me in ways it's hard for me to understand, especially like anybody that says like, oh, like Steven, like you're just so edgy, it's unnecessary compared to like what you could be, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh my god, like I'm so tame. I'm like a fucking like vanilla ice cream cone today compared to the like smorgasbord of insane shit that I used to be like even 5 years ago. But sorry, okay, yeah, go ahead. My bad, I just rambled. Go.
No, I want to keep hearing. So, do you think all of the people telling you you need to chill, you're being too mean, do you think they're all old viewers, or it's the new viewers who have this opinion? Because there's a lot of old viewers. Well, okay, I say old viewers. You're thinking they're new viewers. I mean to say, do you think any of them could be old viewers? Because the old viewers have made progress by making this complaint of you, right? You have progressed, and maybe they're just like they're still going.
No, I think it's a combination of new and old, but I also think new viewers can shape old viewers' opinions a bit too. Like the community is going to be feedbacking itself. So if a whole bunch of new people come in and express an opinion, I think some old people will slowly start to kind of like move towards that opinion as well if it starts to become like a consistent opinion. So I think that there is a yeah, I think it just depends. But I think it's probably mainly newer viewers, but older viewers can get like into the idea too. Also, this isn't to say that I think all of that criticism is invalid. I think there's a lot of like decent criticism there.
I think it's the best criticism you got.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
like my favorite inside joke in this community is that you need to be nicer on Twitter. All of your problems is because you're a mean person.
Based.
I don't know.
But yeah.
It's ironic because you advocate and you argue for probably like the type of politics that help the most people. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I think it makes you an interesting character when you yourself aren't like some sorry Jack, let me hold the door open for you, milady.
Yeah.
Type beat. I think it makes you a really interesting, complex character. With
Yeah, I mean, I
with
think
an
so,
arc
yeah.
that I think most people like root for.
Probably, yeah. But you just have to be careful that I have to just keep progressing rhetorically to keep up with the times, because Jesus.
Oh, rhetorically, I thought this was the year of like being a dark empath.
No, it's just the year of me pushing a little bit harder on my values. That is true. Somebody brought that up. It's interesting looking at Max's sub, because Max's sub is full of Destiny anti-fans that started watching me in like 2020. It's interesting that I have like an anti-fan that developed in like 2 years. It was kind of funny, but yeah. Yeah, I'll try to be more, I'm just trying to lean more into the things I believe. I think it's important, yeah.
Do you feel like the way that you handled the Annalicia situation, is that exactly how you would handle it like right now? Or is there like an actual change from then to now?
It's my gut feeling is I would change it by pushing back on some stuff earlier, but the problem is I'm using knowledge I've gained after talking to her to think about what I would push back on. So I just don't know. Like, so for instance, if I were to say something like, so for instance, if she came on now, I think I've actually said this during the past, probably shouldn't say the bald and the burnt. Probably not okay. That's probably not an okay thing. But like when I'm first talking to her and I don't have much engagement with like these types of communities, I don't even know if like a colorist joke like that is considered especially bad. It feels weird for me to step in and say like, you can't say that. Like as a white person, I'm gonna tell you that that's like bad. Like, I don't know. So I'm more willing to like live and let live. The thing that's kind of irritates me the most about people like that is I feel like I can't tell if my audience either views all of themselves as retarded or me as retarded or everybody as retarded, because people will hear me have a convo with somebody like that, and after the first convo they'll be like, oh my god, like Destiny hates all black men, he's racist, I can't believe it, blah blah. And it's like, bro, do you have like no faith? Or like the whole community is now going to hate black men because of this one conversation. It's like, bro, like it's just, this is the first convo. Like, yeah, the first ones are usually like getting to know, like it was the same with Fresh&Fit, it was the same with Annalicia, it was similar with Fuentes, it was similar with Mr. Golden Lab, it's similar, like almost every person I bring on, like the first combo is going to be like, let's orient ourselves and figure out what this person's all about. But people get like really ass mad about it, yeah.
It's so
Sometimes. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Say that what you're going to say now.
okay. I think it's funny because for the most part, you're engaging in debates and the conversations, not so much to stampede, railroad, or just like fight people on everything, right? You want to not sanitize, humanize, and understand, and then come to like a conclusion and a place where you can argue your point. With your audience, the chat is like the fucking opposite. They're like, nah, I seen you say 2 sentences. You're a bitch. You're racist. Steven's just slow. I figured it out first. Do you feel like it's like a race to judge people? Like, because that's the vibe I get.
Yeah, it feels that way. I have a hard time separating out like it bothers me when people say like the subreddit is a reflection of how I act, when I don't think it is at all, or it superficially resembles it, where like I can be like kind of mean towards somebody sometimes, but like I'm always chill with people afterwards. It's always like this is just like an in the moment argument thing. I'm never like going on to Twitter or going onto my, like a Reddit to like drag the fuck out of somebody like after a conversation. Like that type of behavior is just like I don't do that. I would never do that. But it's like super normalized, and like, yeah, I'm thinking about rewriting a whole different TOS or community guidelines on my subreddit and then doing a Mastodon ban. I've thought about doing that, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, I was having conversations with a couple people. I think it's interesting to just like think about like how you guys moderate this space, or like what's even wrong with this space. Coming from somebody who has maybe less of a problem getting hate and like disliked online, and just wanting to understand the people who do have the problem. And sometimes I just look at it as people who are just playing a game. Like, this is super interesting. This is like reality show for some people. Obviously the topics are personal, people are invested in it, which makes it even that much more interesting. And while you are being patient and taking time with your guest or with issues, and you don't want to jump to conclusions because you sometimes end up making a fool of yourself. So, you know, lesson learned. I'll take a few days. I'll wait for a few conversations before I decide someone's racist or to start tone policing like a black woman or some shit. Like the rest of the audience is like, I'll solve the puzzle first. I'm gonna download Factorio and I'll finish this shit faster than Streamer Man. Type of thing.
Yeah, and it's okay if like
all of a sudden, yeah.
If you figure it out first that somebody's like racist or whatever, I guess like that's cool. But like, because like I have my inklings, right? Because it's also annoying that people still treat me like I'm absolutely fucking retarded. People be like, I can't believe that you couldn't tell that like Max was like really fucking weird. It's like, yeah, of course he's fucking weird. I do that too
sometimes.
Yeah, like obviously he's fucking weird. Now, did I think he would personally backstab me? No, but I knew that he was weird. I'm not like sitting here thinking, oh no, I think Max is like just a totally normal, like awesome, chill kind of guy. Like the guy is very much off the fucking rails of like normality. But I mean, I am too. But the process, I like the process of figuring people out rather than coming to a quick conclusion too, because you learn so much more that way as well, right?
And also sometimes you actually change people's minds, even if you just change their mind for like 20 minutes and then they go back to the same way they were before.
Yeah, like Sneeko.
Honestly, that could have been applied to so many people.
Probably. Oh my god, did you see Sneeko drop the fucking bell curve on Fresh and Fit?
Listen, I don't know why anybody expects more from him. He like
God.
He lets Fuentes like drop on him.
He's
unfazed.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Or well, no, you probably shouldn't you just shouldn't do that. You probably just shouldn't let that happen.
No, you probably shouldn't. And then to insert yourself to do that, I don't know. Maybe he was taking up the fresh mantle, right? Because that's what Fit does. That's what Myron does. When the topic gets a little too sketchy, you stay quiet and you let Fresh just start rambling.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Himself. But I mean, he was Fresh that show, right?
He was. When are you gonna co-host and drag women?
A good question. I'll figure it out someday, okay?
Time to convince you to be meaner. Back to addressing benevolent sexism. Don't you feel like if you were harder on Pixie and Erin, that they would have been more prepared for that situation?
Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to balance out like how hard can you be on somebody versus versus what makes you like an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen the movie
Yeah,
Kick-Ass? Where they
yeah.
the pretend comic book people?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when when her dad is dying, and when they were training in the beginning, how she got shot with like the pistol rounds to like prepare her for like getting shot in real life, and then she was like, oh, it hurt so much more when I got shot in real life, and it's because he used like a lower grain bullet, so that wouldn't be as bad. I don't know. It's like you have to balance out, like, yeah, I want to like train you to like be ready and shit, but I don't want to sit here and like be just a fucking asshole, you know? Like I don't want to sit here and fucking destroy somebody's fucking spirit, mind, and body to prepare them for whatever. Yeah, I guess it's all like a balancing act, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. It's kind of why I go out of my way to destroy myself.
Based.
Really prepare myself.
Nice one.
Do you feel okay?
I do wish, before you ask, I do wish that people like would give me, I don't know if I want to say like a little bit of credit, but like sometimes people act like I'm really mean. And there was a small part of me where it's like, because Erin makes a lot of snarky comments and Pixie does fight a lot. And I'm like, all right, well, if you guys think that I'm mean in conversations, you're about to really find out what it's like when somebody gets really irritated when you do this shit. And they did, because because I'm generally pretty patient with people. And for some reason, nobody gives me credit for how unbelievably fucking patient I am. I was with Max. I was unbelievably patient with fucking Lav. I'm patient with most people that come here, and people will still accuse me of like, oh, like he's so mean and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah.
Who's not giving you credit for being patient? Isn't that like, well, at least for me, that's been my biggest complaint.
Yeah, I know.
Remember,
I get
I came
it's
on
simultaneously.
Here and told you to be a bitch to that one girl.
Yeah, it's simultaneously like the biggest complaint that I get on both ends, where my community is like, I think this is a big argument in Max's survey recently, where my community will be like, yeah, push back, push back, push back, push back. And then like the people I talk to are like, you're so mean, you're so aggressive all the time, like you never let me blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are you fucking serious? I always get pushed back on both ends from that. It's really fucking annoying.
Yeah. I think the people who tell you you're being too aggressive, those are the people that, like, sometimes I get frustrated with you, just because my standard is really high. I expect you to recognize that they're doing that strategically and to be able to call it out instead of, like, actually reflecting on the fact that you should be a nicer person. I don't know. I feel like it's weaponized against you because you get that complaint all the fucking time.
Yeah, mate. I don't know where like I don't know where like social understanding begins and human autism ends. So it's hard for me to tell sometimes. Like on the internet, it's just because at some point, this is always like the most challenging thing for me. It's very hard for me to say like, I think I'm right here and the thousands of people that are critiquing me are wrong. That's a really hard stance to take. And a lot of people will give me feedback. They're like, oh, you're so mean sometimes. You're really mean, blah, 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 blah. But like in real life, never heard this ever. Not a single time in my entire life. I banter with a ton of people. I joke with a ton of people. I've spoken with them. No one has ever had the impression or come off of feeling that I'm mean. But it's like people see me like banter with somebody or be mean to sometimes like strangers or people I'm fighting with on Twitter. And they just assume that I'm like that like all the time. Like one of the most retarded things I'll still hear from people when we go out to eat or like when we meet in real life is like, oh, I'm surprised at like how polite you are to like all like everybody. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, do you think I just walk around like shitting on every fucking person at random? Like, what a stupid fucking comment. And I hear shit like that like kind of frequently. So I don't know, something just doesn't
stealthing every other person.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that too. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't translate as well to the online environment, or people are just really bad at reading like where to stop and where to start or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Like even when it came to like even when it came to things like posting on Reddit, people were like, oh yeah, like of course we post like this is what we do, like this is what you would do, blah blah blah. And it's like if you go through my history, you can see where I got banned from Vosh's subreddit because they don't like me. But if you go through my post history and you look at my posts on other subreddits, I'm generally pretty respectful. I think like I might call someone dumb or something, but on LSF. Like, I think I'm generally pretty respectful. On Vosh's subreddit, I was very respectful. Like, I'm not going around and, like, posting, like, huge hate threads or huge, like, vitriolic responses to people on other subreddits. I just don't do that. But I think people would assume that I would, that I'm about to, like, type up this, like, 45-page, like, personal insult Reddit comment or whatever. So, I don't know.
Was it LSF where you were doing spoilers of movies?
Okay, the LSF thing was different, but they deserved it, okay? That was my truly mask-off Joker moment.
Gotcha.
And I would do it all again, too. I would.
But okay, so isn't this just the phenomenon of online? People, the hate comments are the loud, like, minority. And we kind of let people know, like, the onus is on you to not let it drown out the positivity. Like, if you've got I don't know, if you've got 10,000 viewers and then there's 20 people in your chat spamming that this is trash, like, why are you listening to 20 people, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. I get it's the phenomenon of getting OneGuy'd. Yeah, I should.
You literally got a new email for it.
Yeah, I should think about that more because like I think that well, I mean I do like there were a few times even yesterday. Fuck, who was it? Somebody made a comment about something, and I was about to just shut off the stream because it was already late anyway, and I just want to build my factory. I was about to just shut off my stream, like, oh, okay, well, I don't think anybody wants to watch this, but I didn't. I think I just ignore the person. Yeah, it's hard because like on one end you want to ignore it, but on the other end, not everybody ignores
Imposter syndrome?
No. I don't have imposter.
No, but that's
I know I'm cool.
No.
Okay, I don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You don't know you're cool.
I absolutely
You feel like
do.
an imposter
No.
when somebody can say one comment and is like, "This is boring." Like the thought really goes in your head, like, "Fuck, this is boring. I might as well just fucking shut it off." You guys don't appreciate that I've even turned on my stream even though
No,
this
I
is
don't
boring.
think it's boring. I'm just annoyed that the guy is saying it. I don't actually think that it's boring. I'm just annoyed that this fucking moron in my chat is saying some dumb shit.
You don't think it's boring.
No, I'm just annoying that this fucking moron thinks his opinion matters about that particular thing. That's usually what triggers me. I don't need like a precision.
Wait, what was the thing? Because if it was
fuck,
about
what was it?
Factorio, I just really need you to qualify what is not boring. I'm just teasing.
Yeah. Oh no, I wish I could remember what the comment was, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Where were we at?
How you get OneGuy'd. The hate comments are so much louder than the positivity.
Oh yeah, you have to be careful that
Positivity
like
doesn't
the
vocalize itself.
you don't want the negative shit. Even if you can ignore it, it will weigh on the community, and other people won't ignore it. So even if like you like, oh, I'm cool with the subreddit being like super negative and all that, it doesn't bother me. It's like, okay, but everybody coming in is gonna like have a bad feeling about it because it's gonna make people just feel shitty because nobody wants to be involved in that, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's also how you. I mean, you already know this. It's how you grow a hate community because
Yeah, that's
anybody
how.
who thinks positively about you or engages in a healthy way, guess what? All of the people who want to be like autistic haters and negative Nancys, they're commenting to each one of those like good faith, good engagers and like really deteriorating their minds. Yeah, it's hard to want to engage in a space like that. Or it's like you have to go out of your way to find like the positivity that's in the community. And some people like the combativeness, they like that toxicity. But not everybody,
Yeah.
you guys. And that's coming from me. I think when I had this conversation and I got wait, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, when I had this conversation and I got called out for it a bit. Obviously hypocrite. I'm pretty fucking toxic myself. But I don't think people heard my whole argument, which is people who have an issue with the subreddit, I completely understand it coming from like content creators, it feeling like, wow, this is really shitty. This is what they think of me. The comments where it's like, all conversations with this person are pointless.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like, I mean, you say Jesus, but the thing is, I don't even think that that's that bad. Okay, so this is obviously probably my toxicity coming out.
Okay.
That's not that harsh, and it's a little bit weird because I feel like sometimes the people who would be alarmed by that, like not the content creators or anything like that, but the people who would post and say this is too far, wouldn't bat an eye when I say Sneeko is groomed, ignore what he's saying.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it always feels different when it's about you, though, right? I
It's
do agree.
different when it's about you. It's different when it's about the people that you like.
Yeah, or
you
don't
want
like,
us to
yeah.
be nicer to the people that you like, and you don't have those same standards for the people that you don't like, and it's really confusing for I think everyone who's just got that sort of toxic sense of humor or outspokenness.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that that's a shitty thing, but at the end of the day, I have to evaluate like, how do I want my like chats and everything to go on stream? Because if it is the case that every time you post or every time you have a conversation, there's going to be like horrible, evil posts about you, it's just going to cut out a lot of people from ever wanting to come on stream, which is just unfortunate. And then I get fucked out of interesting content, and the stream does.
Do you feel like this when you think about this, when you talk about this, it's close to the situation where you go on podcasts and you end up talking for like 30 minutes about how your goal is to talk about hard things.
Mm-hmm. But you don't actually talk about the hard things?
You're not actually talking about like what you want. You're just talking about how you want to change, but you don't know what it is.
Well, no, I mean, like, we tried implementing one rule change, right? We'll probably try a couple more going forward. I do think, I will say this, and, you know, knock on wood, and, you know, we've still got more time to go forward in the future. I thought that the anti-misogyny arc would take, like, over a year. I thought that was a really difficult thing to work through. I think we've done a really good job in regards to misogyny, because in a lot of the huge hate threads that popped up about Pixie and Erin, a lot of the comments were like nasty, mean, vitriolic and everything. Not very many sexist comments though. There were a couple ones, but not very many. Not as many as there would have been 6 months ago. So that was
also,
good.
Also, there's a lot of comments in support of them, despite
it
being hate threads.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't think that was as big before.
Yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised about that even though the people were being rude and nasty and disgusting, they weren't like overly misogynistic about it, which is cool. We should just hate people and be nasty about it without hating them for being women. So
based. Yeah.
Can you finally admit the community wasn't exceptionally sexist against Lav and that she was a fucking dumb retard? No. You guys were unbelievably fucking sexist about Lav. It's like not even that's one of the few things that you fucking morons will never gaslight me on. Lav and Annalicia. You guys are insanely fucking sexist over it. Because if you can't attack somebody without like being able to do it without like fucking invoking their gender, saying blah, 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 over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, no, you absolutely are. But
was there a lot to Annalicia? I don't...
a decent amount, but not as much. I think the best thing, and I always said this too, I feel like on a really fundamental level, solving things like racism and sexism, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's just, you just have to get a bunch of these people together with each other, and when you start getting a lot of them, it forces you to see people in a different way. When I had streams where it was, I think it might have been like you, Annalicia, Lav, Erin, like all arguing with each other, it's really hard to be sexist and take sides because they're all women, and it forces you in a different state of mind where it's like if it was Lav and like Annalicia arguing against somebody, it's like fucking women, these are blah 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 blah. But when it's a bunch of women arguing against women, when you've got like all of those women there, you kind of have to start like treating things a bit differently. And I think that's when the tone of the conversation started to change, where people were starting to take sides and shit on other people, and the invoking the fact that they were women didn't really matter because there were so many women involved in the conversation. So I think that helped a lot. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also do want to say that I think Lav put herself in a pretty unique situation to antagonize. She knows what she does.
Yeah, for sure. And she would come on when she did her whole like fucking emotional manipulation arc, which is probably her entire life. But when she was saying this, like, I just don't know why people are so mean towards me. And she's like literally tweeting the day before, like, you don't like me? I'm going to show up even more. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah. And then she comes up and she's like, I love that you guys can't help but come to me.
Yeah. And it's like, bro, you're like ditching panels to come and like talk to us. Like, you're wild right now. Yeah. She is insanely snaky. But
how much do you miss her?
I miss the content. I like screaming at her. Like, that's a lot of fun. On a personal level, I don't think I would ever be friends with her again. It's irritating that like of the few people I tried to like reach out and like form new friendships with, I got so fucking burned by it. So yeah, I would never trust her personally with anything. I don't think anybody should trust her personally ever, because she's an insane fucking snake. But the content was good, yeah. But I mean, the content with Mr. Girl was good too. So, God, fuck! I wish those two could have figured out a way to hate me at like arm's length instead of completely ejecting. But
do you miss Max more than Lav, or is it less because he's a bit more unhinged?
I feel like Lav was like unhinged in like a feminist way that was like, you hate them, but they're somewhat on Earth. And Max was more just like not on this planet. So like the hate was a little bit different. Like Lav might come in and say some shit where it's like all is exploitative, and I think OnlyFans girls are actually just as bad as sex. Like that might be something, I don't think she would say exactly, but she might say something like that. Whereas Max would come on and say something like, you know, like if it's an especially mature 12-year-old, I wouldn't consider it right? Like Max might say some shit like that. So like for Lav, it's like, oh, you get more upset because it's like a little bit more of a realistic kind of view that you can imagine someone having. But Max's views are like so out there, it's like, okay, well, kind of a crazy Max conversation.
Oh, wait. Lav had that conversation with Sneeko, and they really got along. Could you? There could have been an arc, a world, where Lav, she, in her like anti-sex work arc, finds a way to justify what Andrew Tate did and say that the girls were willing. I would have liked that arc.
Yeah, maybe actually, it's possible.
Yeah, I think she could have found a way to be a hypocrite.
Yeah, she's pretty good at that.